Welcome to Episode 5 of Inside Azure for IT. I'm Erin Chapple, CVP of Azure Core Product and Design. We find ourselves again facing swift and dynamic market changes with macroeconomic headwinds, geopolitical tensions, and labor constraints in multiple industries, presenting continued challenges for IT leaders to navigate. And just as companies of all sizes across all industries turned to the cloud to adapt during the pandemic, they continue to do so to help them digitally optimize their businesses. In this episode, we'll take a look at 3 strategies that can help you successfully navigate some of the uncertainty that we're all facing today and emerge stronger, more agile, and more efficient. I've invited 3 guests to share their perspectives on how you can use the full power of the cloud to gain efficiencies and scalability, how you can optimize cloud investments to maximize value, and how you can strengthen your security to become more resilient while you continue to innovate. Before we get started, remember this is part 3 of a 3-part episode. In the first segment, I talk with Satish Rajappa at Blue Yonder about how they're helping customers transform supply chains, drive business value, and gain competitive advantage by migrating to the cloud. And in our second segment, I talk with Henry O'Connell at Canary Speech about how they're powering their vocal biomarker technology using Microsoft Azure and how they're optimizing their cloud investments to maximize value. In this segment, I'm excited to talk with my Microsoft colleague and friend Vasu Jakkal about today's security landscape, what Microsoft is doing to help improve your security posture, and why implementing a comprehensive security strategy is so important to growing your business. Vasu, it's great to have you join me on this episode of Inside Azure for IT. I'm looking forward to our discussion about today's security landscape.
Thanks so much for having me, Erin. It's great to be here.
By now, I think most of us are aware of the efficiencies and innovation opportunities that come with adopting cloud-based infrastructure. But now, more than ever, you also need to adopt the right security strategy to protect against ransomware attacks, supply chain software compromises, data breaches, the list goes on. Given the dynamic security landscape we see today, IT leaders need to sharpen their security strategy to successfully navigate it.
That's so very true, Erin. In the current global security landscape, IT leaders need to look at how they protect their organization comprehensively from every angle: security, compliance, identity, device management, and privacy. Because overlooking any of these areas, it's like locking your doors and leaving your windows open. Just since September of 2021, the number of password attacks per second has risen from 579 to 1287. And the median time for an attacker to begin moving laterally within your network if a device is compromised is now less than 2 hours. Couple all of this with an increasingly complex regulatory environment and a talent shortage of more than 2.5 million open jobs within the cybersecurity industry. And gosh, it's no wonder organizations of every size, in every industry, and in every part of the world are really struggling to keep pace.
That analogy of locking your doors but leaving your windows open paints a vivid picture, Vasu. Today's ultra-connected world makes it more complex for IT leaders to keep data safe. You've got highly regulated industries like healthcare or financial services where people have to trust that organizations will handle their personal information securely and privately. And you also have this new world of hybrid and remote work that requires constant security connectivity and remote access to a variety of sensitive data and applications.
Exactly, Erin. At Microsoft, we remain guided by our core belief that cybersecurity is about empowering people. This is why security is built into everything we design, develop, and deliver. From Microsoft Azure's approach to vulnerabilities, to macro blocking in Microsoft 365, to enhanced built-in security features in Windows 11, I believe we are raising the bar on the security baseline. And in our security portfolio, we integrate more than 50 categories of products, working seamlessly together while protecting across all major platforms and clouds to help organizations safeguard themselves from both external and insider threats.
That comprehensive end-to-end approach is really critical today. And it's the approach we take to protect Microsoft as well. We're not immune to security risks, and as one of the largest technology providers in the world, we have a huge responsibility to ensure customers remain secure on our platform. Our security strategy is constantly adapting to address these ever-changing global conditions.
Like every organization, we look at the macro environment, economic uncertainty, geopolitical unrest, the ongoing effects of the pandemic, and we need to think about how can we be more resilient. The truth is, security has never been more important to an organization's resilience than it is today. But a strong and efficient security posture can help organizations drive growth and productivity by lowering the risk of a breach, while allowing them to put precious resources where they matter most, into growth and into innovation.
I couldn't agree more. One of the ways that Microsoft strengthens our own security posture is by looking at security on a massive scale. Every day, using industry-leading AI, we process more than 65 trillion threat signals across our own digital estate. And we leverage all that signal intelligence along with world-class threat intelligence to help us adapt to changes in the environment and provide the most secure cloud for ourselves and for customers.
So true. And we are also great proponents of a zero-trust approach. This is simply a proactive mindset that assumes all activity, even by known users, could be an attempt to breach systems. We apply it to our own security, and we build it into all the solutions we offer. And finally, I would say that we are always looking at how can we simplify vendor management, how we can reduce threats through AI and automation, and how we can improve our operational efficiency. We offer that same value to our customers, helping them eliminate inefficient silos and patchwork fixes and close security gaps with simplified, automated, and comprehensive protection.
And that work on simplification, reducing threats through automation, includes things like eliminating redundant capabilities, protecting and governing sensitive data, securing access across a multifaceted digital landscape, and increasing SecOps efficiency. The thing about security is that we're all in this together. We at Microsoft have a shared interest with partners, customers, and peers in making the world a safer place. And that's why it's so important that we share insights and best practices so that we're all better prepared for the adversaries we face. As a leader in the cybersecurity industry, Microsoft is always sharing what we've learned with customers. Vasu, can you share some examples of how that plays out?
You bet. Microsoft is in a unique position. Many people don't realize that we're the largest security vendor in the world, with more than 860,000 customers in 120 countries. But we are also defenders ourselves. We have more than 8,500 security experts focused on keeping our digital estate and that of our customers secure. That includes tracking the activities of more than 250 unique nation-state actors and other cyber criminals through highly sophisticated threat intelligence capabilities. With such tremendous insight, we believe it is our responsibility to take a leadership role in proactively sharing information, not only with our customers, Erin, but with our peers and with the public and private sector organizations around the world. So we do this through a variety of ways, including security-related blogs, threat briefings like cyber signals, active programs to notify organizations and agencies when we detect unusual activity, and finally, maintaining open channels of dialogue across our industry every single day. We also offer a variety of skilling and credential programs to empower defenders in every community, and we are investing in helping community colleges expand cybersecurity curriculum and provide scholarships for greater access.
That's so important not only to develop the skills, but also given the shortage we see in cybersecurity professionals that you talked about earlier, Vasu. Now, to continue to do everything that you talked about and to drive innovation in technology, Microsoft is investing more than $20 billion globally in cybersecurity over the next 5 years, taking everything we know about the landscape and innovating across our portfolio so that organizations of every size can stay ahead of the threats. And that includes working with a large ecosystem of partners to make sure that security is seamless. Now, speaking of investments, one of the topics we covered in the last segment of this episode was optimization. Many customers today are focused on optimizing their cloud investments, and they're looking for ways to save. For some people, saving money might be their end goal, but for others, it might make more sense to reinvest those savings into areas that help grow the business and build for the future. And security is one of those areas.
Absolutely right, Erin. Customers should consider prioritizing security And that's for a number of benefits. The biggest reason is that security fosters innovation and productivity, as we discussed before. Security is what makes it possible for you and your organization to be fearless. It's not a strategy of hoping the bad actors don't find you. It's a strategy of comprehensively understanding your risk, both inside and outside the organization, and then taking ongoing steps to protect yourself, such as enabling multi-factor authentication so that you can be inspired in your business without the constraint of security concerns. Security will never be a static thing because the bad actors are always innovating too. So organizations, Erin, are always going to need and want to keep pace with the environment. But it doesn't need to be scary, and it should never be constricting.
What you're proposing then is to think about security as empowering, as giving you the freedom to do more.
Absolutely yes. Absolutely 1000% yes. Security gives you the freedom to do more.
What a great note to end on. Vasu, it was lovely to have you on the show, and thank you so much for chatting with me.
Well, I love you, and thank you so much for the opportunity. I had a great time here.
Now, don't forget to check out the other segments of this episode of Inside Azure for IT. We talk with Satish Rajappa at Blue Yonder about how they're helping customers realize game-changing efficiencies by migrating to the cloud. And we also talk with Henry O'Connell at Canary Speech about how they're powering their vocal biomarker technology and optimizing their cloud investments using Azure. For all our videos, deep dives, and skilling content, head to azure.com/Inside Azure for IT. And I'll see you next time.